Hello, Hari Om, and welcome to this webinar on how to overcome stress and relax and sleep better. Well, I hope you're relaxed for this webinar on how to relax. I just first want to say, as I spray a little lavender in the air and hello, relax, welcome, and have some relaxing tea, that I believe most of us are overstressed in our modern world. We have a lot of pressures, a lot of demands, and we have a lot of stimulation in our lives. Many of us don't even know how stressed we are. So I think it's important first to just try to have an understanding of the degree of anxiety or restlessness or that we have in our lives, which can be expressed in impatience, irritability, anger, anxiety, and of course, insomnia. So there's many of us that know that you're too stressed. We've pushed ourselves too far and not rested, not allowed the body to recover from a day's work, taken too much stimulation to keep ourselves going. Sugar, coffee, alcohol, drugs, so many things that we use to stimulate ourselves, including chocolate, to keep pushing. And after a while, this pushing burns us out. Our adrenals, our kidney function, our prana, our life force is depleted. And we feel fatigued. And instead of resting or recuperating, allowing our nervous system to recover and to our adrenals to rest, we continue taking stimulants. So this becomes, we could say, adrenal burnout, adrenal fatigue, but it's burnout is a very good word. So this is, and then fatigue comes. So in the early stages of stress, of course, a little stress is necessary to get become active and to be take action. But if we ignore the stress for a long period of time, then we go through a stage of burnout, of fatigue, and then we reach fatigue. And then after fatigue, we can also have pain, inflammation. And stress mostly affects the nervous system, Meja Vayu Sutra in Ayurveda. So this, and the head, the mind, Mano Vayu Sutra. These are its areas that it impacts, this type of stress that leads to anxiety. For some people, it may create anxiety. For some people, it may create irritability. Some people may be able to go for years before they reach this stage of burnout. Some people may reach this stage of exhaustion in 1 or 2 years, while other people, it may take them 10 years. But then fatigue comes, and we have a secondary problem. And also inflammation comes, and pain can come. But different people with different, depend on your original body type or constitution or prakriti and other factors to determine the results. But ultimately, stress is very damaging. In a short term, it affects your sleep, your energy levels through the day, and affects your digestion. When your body's stressed and anxious and the digestion doesn't work properly, and then you have many digestive problems. So you have digestive problems, sleeping problems, energy problems, all due to this excess stress in our lives. And much of the stress, we're creating it ourselves through demands, by believing things should be a certain way, by not being, making an effort to be patient, by having too much on our to-do list and too many projects and being too ambitious, being hasty in our lives. All of these things are creating the stress. Most of us are creating the stress. Now, all things are creating stress in a modern world to some degree. But when you push yourself and try to overachieve and don't have faith that things will work out, but feel the feeling that if you don't do it, the whole world will crumble, or your life will be over. And this creates a type of stress and anxiety that is very harmful to the body. So most of us have this stress and we're not aware of it because we're so used to it. If you go on vacation for 2 weeks, after first 2 or 3 days, you still have stress. You're still checking your phone, still checking your messages, still nervous about missing calls. But after about a week, you leave your phone in the hotel room. You don't care anymore. You don't return all of your messages instantly, and you relax. And then your pace slows. You start walking slower. The heart starts pumping slower. You start sleeping better, and you're very glad you took the vacation. So many of us need vacations. Even if you don't think that you're stressed out, wait until you take the 10-day vacation. Then 3 days into it, you'll realize it. After 1 week of resting on the beach with warm weather and swimming in the ocean and regular meals and no job, no responsibility, no pressure, then you'll realize how much stress you really have. And this stress is not just affecting the digestion, but it's affecting our overall health, and possibly even shortening our lives, weakening our immune system, making us more susceptible to infection and other type of health problems. So, and it's there, I would say, in most people. So it's very important to learn to manage it, to accept it, not be in denial, and not try to cover it up by just having stimulants and coffee and chocolate and keep pushing through this stress. It's time to rest. And of course, there's no such thing as making up for a lost day of being overly stressful, or a night of not sleeping. There's really no making up for it. Your body has been depleted due to this lack of sleep. So it's very important to maintain a regular eating schedule, because when you don't eat on time, this creates stress for the anxiety for the body, or stress for the body. If you're driving your car on empty and you're nervous because you could run out of gas. So if you haven't eaten all day, the body's nervous and stressed because you haven't given it any energy or any nutrients for the day, because you're working and pushing and not eating, maybe just having coffee, chocolate, and these things instead. So very important to eat on a regular basis so the body is used to eating. Animals are the same, used to eating at the same time. Animals are the same. If you don't feed your cat at the same time, it meows. And if you don't feed your horse, well, I don't know if you have a horse, but I have a horse. And if I don't feed him at the right time, or he's fed at an incorrect time, then he bucks and he gets upset. He's nervous because this is his eating time. So children are the same. They will cry if they're not fed at the right time. So it's very important to eat at the right time, sleep at the right time, and have a routine. Routine is one of the best lifestyle habits to reduce the stress in your life. Not overworking, not being overly ambitious, not setting too many goals, enjoying the moment, not thinking of the future, not worrying about the past. These are all areas that create stress. When we think of the future, we'd have no control over it. So it's going to, of course, create stress because we don't know what will happen. When we have faith, we relax. When we have no faith, then we worry. And same for the past. We can learn from the past, but we have to forget it and move on. If we keep thinking about it and worrying about it and regurgitating it, then it also creates stress and anxiety. So you have to stay in the moment to be relaxed. And you have to try to enjoy the moment and try to enjoy the company you're with. Once your mind goes somewhere else and thinks of something else, you're not in the moment anymore. Once you're not in the moment, that's also creating some anxiety. So eating on time, sleeping on time, staying in the moment, these are all very important ways to help to reduce the anxiety in our life. And not being hasty, not wanting things too quickly, not pushing ourselves continuously, giving ourselves a break, giving our children a break, not being as demanding, not creating stress for other people. You know, when we push the children to have straight A's, or push a child to do everything exactly, then we're creating stress for the child and ultimately for yourself. So these are the ways that we can change our life. I'm going to talk today about some other home remedies that we can do at home. And I'm going to provide some herbal cures and talk about some herbal remedies that you can use to help to manage your stress, because we do live in a stressful society. We have economic stress, paying bills and expenses. We have political stress. We won't go into that, about the laws of the politicians, or these are all creating some stress. And we have relationship stress with family, our children, our bosses, and such. So there's many, many forms of stress that we have in our life. So it's best to try to eliminate these that as much as possible, like not having too much debt. Debt creates stress. Anytime you owe money, you have stress. Rich man and a poor man, they both have stress, just different causes. So not having enough money, it creates stress. Having a lot of money and everybody's trying to take your money, or you're afraid to lose the money, creates stress. So, living amongst your, within your means, as they say, will be most, give you a peace of mind. You want that peace of mind. You have enough money to live, but you're not overly ambitious trying to create an empire that's going to create more stress, more anxiety. So this first is always best to address your life and your habits, not resting on weekends, getting to bed early, not pushing yourself. This is eating on time, sleeping on time. I can't emphasize that enough. I think I have emphasized it at least twice now, so we'll move on, but it's very important to focus on that first. And so now we're going to talk about what can you do when we still have a little anxiety left. And because the nervous system is so sensitive and responds so quickly to any type of stimulation, whether it's a positive stimulation or a calming stimulation, then you can reduce your stress quite quickly or increase it quite quickly with teas and herbs. Now, you should always eliminate these stimulants: chocolate, coffee, alcohol, sugar. Sugar is also a stimulant that creates stress because it's exciting the body. And just like coffee, it's increasing the heart rate. Chocolate with sugar is also a stimulant. So eliminate the stimulants first, and then try to add in some nervines, some calming herbs into your life. We have many here. My favorite, a relaxing tea. And a relaxing tea has many nervine herbs in it: passion flower, lavender, chamomile, hops. These are all calming herbs. Hops is also a sedative, and it's in the sleeping tea. Hops, poppy seed, more chamomile, all are nervines. And these nervines, they work very well, very calming. You could give them to a child. You can even mix some of these relaxing tea with milk and give them to a baby, and they'll sleep better. You can have them after dinner, like your evening wine, and relax with this and wind down and help you to sleep deeper and better. And many of these also come in oils. You can get herbal oils, and these herbal oils you can put on your feet, even for a child. You can put even a baby. You can put these oils on the feet of a baby, and they'll sleep better. They're just herbal oils with, a sedative and nervine herbs in them that go into your nervous system and help the nervous system to calm down and support the nervous system, and thus improve better sleep. Now, you have stronger ones. Once you take the herb in a powder form like this, then it's much stronger. This is like a calming form. If you're having panic attacks, then you would need something stronger. And the powders are much stronger than just, say, the tea, which is an infusion or decoction. So here you're ingesting the herbs. Many of these are Indian herbs: Shankpushpi, Brahmi, maybe you've heard of, and little tagar. Even ashwagandha, which is an adaptogen, will help you to give you some energy and also allow you to sleep at night. And the powder is much stronger. And for the sleeping formula, much stronger, they're using tagar. Tagar is a type of Indian valerian. But if you don't have these Indian herbs, they're a little harder to find. You can take a little valerian at night, and this will help you sleep. There's many You want to take it straight. You want to mix it with some other herbs. And of course, essential oils can be very nice. Here's one here. It's called Panic Attack. So if you can have a little panic attack, then, oh, wow. We'll take another shot of that. It's very, very nice, very nice. So instant, because it goes right into your brain. So this is a nice way to use essential oils. In fact, I have a little thing here, so you can put in your room or your bedroom, put the candle in here. Got some lavender oil here, put it in the top, light a candle, and this will this essential oil will go throughout the whole room and create a nice environment to help you to sleep better. Music also is very important. So if I have somebody who has anxiety, we put on ambient music, we spray lavender in the air, and we put some flowers out and make it very peaceful, and then their anxiety goes down. And even you can put some essential oils. I have a little lavender and some water in here. Oh yeah, I'm just really chilling out here, folks, today on this talk. I thought if I'm going to do this talk, I'm going to have to be relaxed to do it, because some talks I'm really fired up and motivated, but this talk I'm really doing my best to be relaxed. Having some of that relaxing tea with that lavender, passion flower really works well. Now, there's other things you can do, of course, is salt baths, Epsom salt baths. The magnesium absorbs into the system. And besides Epsom salt, you could also just use normal sea salt. And you can take magnesium too to help the muscles relax, help you sleep better. But there's many types of magnesium. So you want to take a food-based magnesium. So Garden of Life or Mega Foods would be preferred brands. Some of these magnesium citrate or magnesium sulfate, these are not good for long-term use. So we want good quality magnesium. And really the herbs, I think, are better for long-term use than taking a magnesium supplement. But many of us are depleted in nutrients, particularly magnesium, D vitamins, and B vitamins. So when it comes to food and nutrients, we get our B vitamins mostly from our grains. So if you're not having any grains, you decided to go, carb-free or grain-free. It's really impossible to go carb-free, but we hear people talking about it because carbohydrates are in almost all food groups. But grain-free, I've had people who were overweight who had no grains, and they came in and they told me they couldn't sleep. They had the first time in their life, they had anxiety, even though they were losing weight. So, if you don't have the grains, a lot of times these are the comfort foods, then you can affect your nervous system. And that's why they call them the comfort foods. And of course, we know that whole wheat bread and brown rice is full of B vitamins, which comforts our nervous system. So we could also take a little B complex in the morning, another B complex at lunch to help with our nervous system and support our nervous system. There's many things, many foods we could take too. Brewer's yeast is high in B vitamins. Bee pollen is high in B vitamins, and of course grains. So, and same with magnesium. We can take the supplement in the evening to help us relax, but it's better we look for this in our food by having proper digestion. So eating the right foods, not restricting yourself, eating on time, these will do a lot to help you relax. And taking the salt baths at night, creating the right environment, staying off the computer, not working at night, getting bed sleep early. So it sounds very simple, but it's very, very important for your health. And I would say many people come to me with other health problems, high blood pressure, pain, insomnia, and even depression, but it also are fatigue, but it started with stress. And that stress starts with overworking, over-pushing themselves, taking stimulants for 10, 15 years until they burn out or damage themselves to the point where they cannot function. And that's when they come to seek professional help to recover. But in fact, it all started from living a highly stressful life. So feel free to ask some questions on the chat. if you have any questions. I think I've covered a lot in a short period of time. So please ask some questions and about how you can relax and sleep better. I will say the herbs work very, very well. Because the people who don't sleep well are anxious or thinking too much at night, their mind is moving too much at night, then these herbs sedate it. They sedate the mind so it's not going so fast. So you're not thinking of all your problems. And of course, yoga, meditation are very important. I get a lot of people with anxiety and nervousness, and I ask them if they're doing yoga, and they say, "Oh, I'm doing Vikram yoga. I'm doing this hot yoga." And I said, "No. You need to do restorative yoga, relaxing asanas." Or they say, "I'm doing this kundalini or a certain type of pranayama." I said, "No, you need to just do deep breathing and relaxing." So sometimes we're doing the opposite of what we need. Often people come to me with anxiety and nervousness and poor sleep, and they're skipping meals, fasting, juicing. I say, no. You need to be eating. You need to have food. You can't, when you don't eat, you become too light, too vata, too in the head. There's too much air in the head. So we call it vata in the Manovaya Sutra, air in the head. You become spacey and lightheaded and even dizzy. And this is from fasting, skipping meals, just trying to focus on losing weight instead of nourishing yourself. So that's a very important point. If you're even anxious or nervous and you're underweight, then, over-exercising, running is going to be counterproductive. You want to relax and take a little rest in the day. Okay. So, here's some question here about valerian. Somebody asked if it says it bothers them. Is there any alternatives? Yes. Well, the Indian valerian is called tagar, and it has a less heavy feeling. And the people have a problem with valerian often because they're taking it straight in large amounts. So when I mix it, say, in the sleeping formula here, it's probably only 20% of the sleeping formula, because I have other herbs in here, sapgandha and brahmi, a little nutmeg, and shankpushpi, other Indian herbs. And tagar is just the sedative herb in there. So there's other herbs that aren't as potent, more relaxing, and take away that heavy, dull feeling you can get from taking too much valerian. And somebody asked me, what are the best foods for vata, muscle pain, fibromyalgia? Well, that's quite a bit to answer here. But, vata is a depleted state where the muscles are been depleted, not enough protein, not enough nutrients, and there's like cramping in the muscles. And this creates a type of pain and depletion in the body. So, that food has to be well cooked, very nourishing, cooked vegetables. And when you have pain, you should look at some of my other videos on pain, and this has to really be addressed as a separate subject there. But you want to avoid inflammatory foods like the nightshades and things like that. And sleep is very, very important. And dryness. Somebody's asking about dryness. Yeah, dryness is a big factor a lot of times for increasing vata. Just like I mentioned, lightness, you get too light and spacey, this increases vata. When vata goes up, you can't sleep. You're thinking too much. Also dryness, if the skin's dry, it's itchy and it cracks and even can be painful. So if your body's dry, your organs are dry, then they're not working well. And this also can be increased vata. And somebody's asking, this is a good question, what causes a night of dreaming versus a good night of sleep? And I've noticed this myself. Some nights I'm dreaming a lot and you don't feel quite as rested. I have it's a lighter sleep when you're dreaming, or you remember a lot of your dreams, or they seem to keep you a little bit awake. So this is where a little nervines, sleeping tea, relaxing tea will help to settle. I've noticed that myself. If I have the sleeping tea, I can't remember any of the dreams or just a little bit of the dreams. And when I'm more worried or I'm thinking about something, about ready to travel, and I have a lot of thoughts on my mind, I have more dreams. So the mind is a little too active during the night. And that's a perfect type of case just to have a relaxing tea, a sleeping tea, a cup of chamomile or passion flower with a little ginger and lavender in it before bed to help you to calm the mind, relax the mind. So that was a good question. Another question here about television. That's a good one. I forgot to mention TV as a major stimulant, and a computer as well, because when you're in front of the computer, you're very stimulated. I hope I'm not stimulating you too much. And the TV too, it's coming at you, so you won't sleep well. I think the computer is even more stimulating. Electromagnetic frequencies. Also, this is a whole nother subject about how they aggravate our nervous system and keep us awake. I've had some people that had insomnia problems, and it wasn't improving after my herbs and my guidelines and my eating habits. And then I asked them to go sleep in another room or go put a mattress in the middle of the living room floor and go to sleep. And then they went to sleep. And I've asked people to like flip off the circuit breaker, the electricity for their room, and then they slept. So this is all the electromagnetic frequency in the room. So you want to turn off all the lights, all flashing lights, all red flashing lights, and not sleep next to a lot of power cords and have wires running all over your bed. Particularly your children are very sensitive. So if you're a Vata type person, you already have nervous type of condition, you'll become very sensitive to the EMFs and the electromagnetic frequencies, and this can keep you awake. I've even met people that were disturbed by just the Wi-Fi in the room, able to keep them, disturb them. So when your nervous system is that sensitive, it's a nervous system problem. I'm not saying that electromagnetic frequencies are healthy or Wi-Fi is healthy, but when it's bothering you, then this is a nervous nerve system, neurological problem. The nerves haven't been nourished. I found a lot of people who are older who are on a low-fat diet. Maybe they were told not to have fat, so 40 years they didn't have fat. They had margarine that clogged up their liver. It's another story. But they didn't have healthy fat. They were doing the low-fat milk for 40 years. They start to have cognitive problems, can't remember much, maybe a little dementia, Alzheimer's slipping in. But, you know, that's also neurological, that the nervous system has been depleted from sufficient fat, so it becomes overly sensitive. So even a loud clap makes a person nervous, and that's one sign we know a person needs magnesium, is because they're startled easily. But, you know, if loud sounds are bothering you, this is a sign that your nerves are depleted. And for some reason, we don't think in terms of nourishing ourselves and taking care of ourselves. We're always thinking of cleansing ourselves, detoxing ourselves, and always trying to lose weight, which could be important if you're overweight. But sometimes we're not that overweight, and we're still doing these extremes, exercising hard, missing meals, just eating really light, skipping grains, not having butter, not having fat, you know, all with this objective to lose weight or not gain weight. But what are we doing to our nervous system that requires these nutrients, requires this healthy fat? Well, we're making it more sensitive, and we can have frayed nerves, agitated nerves. So this increases Vata, then increases Pitta, and it results in pain. And after a while, when the Vata gets so high, then it damages Mutravaya Sutra, the urinary system, and then we feel tired and fatigued. That's the kidneys and the adrenals, as I mentioned earlier. And then, you know, it can even affect the nerves, can even affect then the muscles, where the muscles start to have pain, where there's like a pitta in the muscles. There's inflammation, tenderness in the muscles. So very, very destructive, this type of long-term stress, where the body doesn't have a chance to recover. So please ask your questions there. And okay, well, somebody's saying, can they take these herbs long term? Well, these herbs are very mild. We wouldn't want to take too much valerium or tagar on a long-term basis. But yeah, the relaxing tea, the sleeping tea, chamomile, passion flower, oat straw, these can be taken long-term. You can be taken every night. I mean, people are drinking alcohol every night. Don't think twice about it. People are taking pills and medication, aspirin every night. Don't think twice about it. So I'm a little surprised when people are worried about taking a cup of chamomile tea every night of their lives. And if that's what it takes to get you off the computer, turn off the television and relax and go to bed early, then this is definitely a good habit for you to have, is to continue having your chamomile tea or your relaxing tea or your calming tea every night. So you should see these things as not as some type of medicine, but helping to balance out the anxiety which we have in our fast-paced modern society where we have a lot of pressures. Okay, well, I hope that helps everybody to relax. And do keep in mind that the herbs work very well, and there's many herbs that help you to relax. It's not difficult. You can go to a health food store and probably buy a calming tea. And we now know that the cannabis is a very relaxing and even sedative type of herb. It's now been used medically here in the United States and many countries, but traditionally it was also used in Ayurveda. So according to Ayurveda, it's good for the nerves, good for anxiety, good for appetite, good for this type of condition. So this is just one herb. I'm just using it as an example, not advocating it. But for long-term use, these type of nervine and sedative herbs are very good for long-term use. So you have to find what works for you without becoming dependent on something strong like alcohol, I think, is a common source. So if you think of what we're doing in life, we're undernourished here in the West. We're undernourishing our body, not giving our bodies enough nutrients because we're trying to lose weight, work hard, skip meals and things like that. We're anti-dairy, anti-wheat, anti-even eating full meals or sitting down and eating. And then we don't have enough, and having a lot of sugar, a lot of stimulation, and then we don't have enough to get through the day. So then we have more sugar, more coffee, more chocolate to stimulate us through the day. And then at night we sedate ourselves with alcohol. So then this is, of course, damaging to our nervous system and our brain cells and our liver and ultimately even our kidneys. So it's better to find a more natural means and slow your life down a little bit and to find a better pace. So I think I've asked all the answered everybody's questions. I see a few hellos and comments there, but I'm looking for questions. So I'll give you one more chance to send a few questions there. Then I think I'll have a relaxing evening here with my relaxing cup of tea. So, and of course, if you need any of these products or you feel that your anxiety is very high and you really need help, then it's good to seek professional help. Particularly if you've been on medication that you've become dependent on, then you need maybe a professional approach to preparing the herbs for you. Somebody's asking about neurological conditions like MS, and those would include Parkinson's. And yeah, this is a serious neurological issue. And I don't believe that these are as hereditary as we believe. I think these are created often through it's in Ayurveda, it's a tejas, or the fire, damaging the ojas, the immunity. But what that means is first there comes the depletion of the nervous tissue or nervous system, the lack of fat, the lack of nutrients. And then they're damaged because they lack the protection, or we call the ojas, that would protect the nerve lining. They're damaged by the inflammation in the body. So you have this exposed nerve that didn't get enough nutrients. Then you have inflammation in the body, and then damages the nerve, and then you have serious neurological problems. I mean, that's a very quick explanation, and that's the explanation from the Ayurvedic point of view, of course. And everything that I'm communicating here, to a large degree, some of it is just good common sense, to not be eating and watching on your computer at midnight. But much of what I've relayed to you is based on Ayurveda, and it's important to understand that Ayurveda does have good solutions for these type of conditions. In fact, panchakarma, which is an Ayurvedic detoxification treatment, is extremely relaxing. If you don't think that you have stress, and go do an oil massage every day, and then a steam. This is type of panchakarma treatment. Sneha, which is putting the oil, warm oils on your body, and sveda, steaming it off, getting in a steam box. And then you can do shirandara, where you're pouring the herbal oils on your forehead. And this directly affects the brain. These herbal oils go right into the brain by pouring for 30, 40 minutes on the head. It's called shirandara. And this is very calming to the mind. So you can take a person who's very anxious, has anxiety, and you can do this panchakarma treatment, which is oil massage, the steam, the shirandara. There's other aspects to panchakarma, of course. This is more like preliminary panchakarma, purvakarma, preparing for the true panchakarma. But it's relaxing the nervous system, settling the nervous system, balancing the nervous system, bringing down the vata, and unexciting the doshas, as we say. And it's very, very effective. Not working, resting, just having somebody prepare food for you and getting oil massage every day, and the shirandara on your head. And within 3-4 days, the most anxious person becomes relaxed. So highly recommended to take a vacation or do panchakarma, get oil massages, and these type of things. Take more rest. Okay. Here's somebody asked. Here, we'll take one more question. Can you use sesame oil yourself for anxiety? Yeah, if you have dry skin in your vata, then sesame oil is going to be very soothing. But these oils that I have here, wherever they, here it is, they're herbal oils. So, you can buy vata massage oil. I even have an oil called sleeping oil that you put on the bottom of your feet. But a vata massage oil has nervines in it, so it goes into the body. So if you cover your whole body in oil with nervine herbs in it, that's really going to relax you. But the sesame will help if you have high vata and you're cold and poor circulation and dry skin. Take a hot bath with salt water, and then put the sesame oil on your body. You may find that you sleep very good just from that alone. So that was a good question. But if it's serious, then you want to put the oil on the whole body, or at least put the oil, I recommend this oil put on the bottom of your feet, and you could put right in here. There's many oils that we put called nasa. We put them in the nostrils. You can put these oils right on the temple, absorb it in under the nose. I got that nice mustache there, so you can just put some oils right there and breathe them in, and that will help. You can put it on the pillow. So I have many, even here right on my desk here, I have quite a few. There's another little relaxing formula here that you can inhale. So these essential oils can be used in that manner. Okay, I think I've answered all the questions. So I hope everybody doesn't stay up too late tonight, doesn't watch TV, doesn't work too late, just decides to go to sleep a little earlier and sleep a little better, and not force yourself to you have to get up in the morning. You should wake up naturally. You know if you're too fatigued, or if you try to meditate or just lie down on the floor and you go to sleep. It means you don't have enough sleep. Good way to know if you're really stressed out is if somebody's late for an appointment and you don't have anywhere to go, but you're all upset about it, or nervous about somebody being late when you really have nowhere else to go anyway. You could have just relaxed in that moment. So when you're that stressed, you can't even relax even when you have an opportunity to relax. It takes an effort to meditate. So this is why meditation is so powerful. It's stilling the mind, because the mind is creating most of the anxiety by, like I said, worrying, overthinking, thinking of the future, worrying about the past. So the mind is a cause. And so when the mind is overactive, then you're going to have more anxiety. So that's why meditation is stilling the mind, watching the breath. Oh, breathing. Very good point about breathing complete. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Slow, deep breathing. That will slow the mind down. Okay. Hari Om, Hari Om. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to contact me if you need assistance and help with your health. I hope this webinar has helped you to improve your health and to relax. Thank you very much.